guys, we're about to start. There's one change to I did a revised agenda since we're not going to have an improvement district meeting. No, it's not necessary. It's not necessary. We did it just because there was some concern we might need them. So we're going to have to call to order, and I've got the notices here to hand out, so you just make that a part of the record. You know, the notices that were posted. And then all it is the First Amendment and then the second supplemental indenture, and that's it. And the second supplemental indenture is authorized by the resolution, the excerpted minutes, okay? And that's all we're doing. Well, I take that back. After the public notice, what they're going to do, since one of the secretary had to resign, they'll elect another secretary for signing documents. Right. Right. That's right. That's why the excerpted minutes authorize it, but it's not to be done. Okay. All right, let me put you on speaker. Y'all there?
We're here.
Great.
How's everybody doing this afternoon or this evening? It's Craig Rathell.
Hey Craig.
Hey Craig. Hey Craig.
Do we have Chuck, Mark, and Mr. Dozier?
Yes.
All right, so that's three. We don't have no Bruce and Bruce Hall and Dr. Zloty. They're not present, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, very good. All right. All right. Is everybody ready to get this rolling?
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and call to order the Cooperative District of Houston County Country Crossing Project. Today is Thursday, May 12, 2011. The time is approximately 5:15 p.m. We'll indicate for the record that Mr. Taylor, Mr. Sheldon, and Mr. Dozier are present in person at the meeting. Mr. Bruce Hall and Dr. Zloty are not present, but we do have a quorum of 3 out of the 5 board members are present. We do have a quorum. It's in order to proceed with today's meeting. I'm going to move to item 2. We have the public notice for today's special meeting. And Mr. Sherrer's office has taken care of those postings for us and has copies of the notices that were posted. Correct, Gary?
That's correct, and I've done a certification to put in the minutes.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Move to item 3. There's going to be a little bit of a revision, and I'm going to really ultimately defer to Gary, but we've got a couple documents here. One is the First Amendment to the trust indenture. And Gary, I think there was a slight red line revision sent out. You do have that, correct?
I do.
Okay. And then the second document we have is then that's related to the 2009 bonds, and then the second document is the second supplemental indenture related to what would be the 2010 note and potentially turning that into a 2011 note. I think what I'm going to go ahead and do, Gary, since you were more integrally involved in the discussions on that, I'm going to go ahead and defer to you if that's okay.
Okay. The first thing let's do though is elect a new secretary. Okay.
Right.
So somebody make a motion in that regard.
Okay. So Mr. Hall, I have Mr. Hall as the secretary of record right now, but we're going to go ahead and elect a new secretary to replace Mr. Hall? Yeah,
Mr. Hall, because of some other issues that he has, had given an indication that he might resign, and he resigned yesterday. So.
Okay, very good.
So we need to have a secretary.
Something like it more.
Any nominations for the secretary?
Tall Dozier nominated Mark Sheldon.
And Mr. Dozier nominates Mr. Sheldon.
Second by Mr. Taylor.
Any other nominations? If not, then we have a motion to go ahead and elect Mr. Sheldon to the officer position of secretary.
So moved.
Second.
I'm sorry, who made that motion?
Tall, Dozier.
Mr. Dozier, and then second,
Taylor?
Mr. Taylor. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, Mark. You are now a secretary of the district.
Thank you.
Didn't even have to campaign. All right, back to you, Gary.
Okay, the first document that is to be considered, the purpose of this meeting is limited to two different amendments. And the first amendment to the trust indenture, and this deals with the trust indenture of the 2009 bonds. There was a substantial reserve fund created in the context of those bonds. What this first amendment to that trust indenture does is basically authorizes the bond company and its trustee with regard to the bonds to use, they call it opening that bond issue, okay, opening that bond, but it allows them to use that reserve for current expenses such as attorney's fees that have been incurred in federal court by them and to defend the bonds, and also to allow them to pay taxes that are due on the property and any other matters like that. So they're just, this particular amendment allows them to use those funds on a limited basis to meet certain very limited expenses that are here. And that deals with the 2009, which was the 21 million plus bond, okay?
And just for the record, I've got the trust statement here, and there's $2,035,663.18 in the reserve account for the 2009 bonds.
How much was that
and,
again?
Warren Bloom, Trustees Council, did state, Gary, that I'd asked him the amount that we would do to fill in the blank, and he said he said insert 300,000 unless the Lord Abbott asked for a different number, and Lord Abbott has not asked for a different number, so the amount to be inserted would be 300,000 into the actual agreement.
Okay, and let me point out for purposes of the board that this first amendment to the trust indenture contains a provision and a section that provides that there's no personal liability or accountability with regard to the district members, the district itself, the county, that this is all related to and secured solely by revenues that would be generated by the fees. It doesn't change that. This is not a general obligation of the district or any member of the district. It's not a general obligation of the county or any type of obligation of the county. So this doesn't change the fact that there have to be revenues coming in order for the bonds to be paid. But
Those were the money's already there in the reserve.
The money's already there in the reserve.
So,
That's exactly right.
And Gary, at this point, would you suggest having a motion to go ahead and accept or approve the First Amendment to the trust indenture as proposed?
That is right.
So moved by Taylor.
Okay, motion by Mr. Taylor. Is there a second?
second.
Mr. Shelton?
Dozier.
Mr. Dozier. Sorry about that. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you.
The second item is the $7 million 2010 bonds that were done last summer come due for payment on May the 27th of 2010. The bond company has not made a decision as to whether they're going to be willing to extend that bond or renew that bond, but they are considering that, and they would like for this board to approve in substantially the form may change a little bit, but and authorize the chairman and the secretary to execute the second supplemental indenture between the Cooperative District of Houston County Country Crossing and U.S. Bank National Association, and these would be revenue bonds, Series 2011. They don't change anything from the revenue, is the sole source for payment. There is a paragraph and section in here that says it doesn't create a general obligation or any liability with regard to the district other than the flow through of those revenues should they ever start again. And there's no liability for the board members or otherwise. And as counsel for the board, that was a big issue for me on both of these agreements, was to be sure that that did not change that this board was sitting primarily like an industrial development board to assist the developer, and now that you are assisting the bond holders to try to work out of the difficulties that are there. Now, the second supplemental indenture relates to the $7,735,000 bond issue that was done in 2010, it was May or June, and it comes due May 27th of 2010, and this would be a renewal of that bond. Okay.
That was 7 million and the 7,735,000.
Yeah, 7,735, right, okay. And the interest rate goes to the rate that was provided in the bond should this happen, the original bonds that would happen. So, but anyway, that's what they want to take place. Now, I asked, since this was kind of a approve something, but nobody signed it, nobody authenticated it or anything like that, but go ahead and approve and authorize, I asked Warren Bloom, since he represents the bond company, to prepare excerpted minutes that contain the actions that are taken here, okay? So what I basically need, and what I recommend, is that you pass a motion adopting the minutes, these minutes as the minutes of the special meeting related to the second supplemental indenture, the 2011 bond issue, and then it will provide all the authorizations, because it has a resolution within it, that are necessary should this second supplemental indenture need to be signed between now and May 27th in order to renew. It's basically renewing a loan to carry it over another year.
So moved by Taylor.
Okay, motion by Mr. Taylor, is a second.
Sheldon.
By Mr. Sheldon. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 3-0. All right, Gary, any other items, or we got it all covered?
No, sir, that's all.
Yeah, great job. Thank you very much. Item 4 is not necessary, correct, Gary?
Double check. Well, I took item 4 off.
Item 4 has been removed. Okay, very
Yes.
good. All right, and otherwise, I believe then we just moved, there are no other business items, correct, Gary?
That's correct.
All right, any final questions or comments from the board? If not, we can look for a motion to adjourn.
So motion.
A motion by Mr. Taylor.
Dozier.
Mr. Dozier. Second.
Sheldon.
Mr. Sheldon. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Time is approximately 5:25. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing everybody, and we'll probably be seeing you in a couple months when we start to present next year's budget.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks,
All right, take care, guys.
All right,
Thank you. Thanks, Gary. Good job.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Second indenture.
The host has left the meeting.